Mr. Vishesh Khurana, co-founder of India's 20th unicorn ShipRocket. It's basically India's leading e-commerce logistic platform, a game changer in the e-commerce industry. Vishesh has been on a mission to transform the e-commerce landscape in India by connecting online retailers with logistic professionals, simplifying process and amplifying reach. But other than being a solid founder, he's also been a great, investor, having invested in about 50 plus odd companies, early stage companies, and has been mentoring them as well. He's invested in F&B, beauty, fashion, and tech. And some of the deals that I could name here is Jimmy's Cocktail, Arata, My Mandi, Urban Piper, Igor's Nutrition. So I think there's a lot to learn from Vishesh, as he's worn both the hats of a founder and an investor. And we can get a lot of industry insights as well. The session will be moderated by our very own CA Poonam Khandelwal, who has been an integral part of VCAT's journey from the past 6 years, has been helping VCATs build bits by bits, and has led market development initiatives to expand VCATs in almost 55 plus Indian cities. Poonam is not only a part of VCATs, but also has been an ace investor having invested in about 35 odd companies. So Poonam, I look forward to the conversation with Vishesh. Over to you guys.
Hey, thanks, Moana. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining in, and thank you, Vishesh, for always accepting our offer
anytime
to educate. So, Vishesh, we are taking this initiative to keep educating the angels who are part of our community, and hence we request founders like you to join us and give us insights how you have built your companies. So starting, not taking much time in starting, the first thing is there is a news around you that from being a college dropout to building a unicorn company, you come from a very humble middle class background. That's a very bold decision to take. So share a little insight about you and how this journey has been.
Thank you for having me. I think news kind of glamorized it, but yeah, at the end of the day, I come from a family business background. That's all we know. And I've seen my father building businesses, and that's where I learned. My only thing I have learned over growing up was one has to run his own business, self-employment. So after schooling, I think I had my first opportunity. I was a little bit good at tech, not to code, but I understood tech well. And I started my first company, which was mobile apps business. But this was just happenstance. It was not a planned decision. I found a good mentor. He said, I want to start a mobile apps company, and can you help me? I started my journey with him for a couple of months, and then I just moved on from him and started the company myself. First 3 months was someone just giving me that opportunity. Let's just try this out. But yeah, it's been a good 10 years. I think ShipRocket is my third company. Learned a lot of lessons over the last 10 years in terms of what it takes to build a businesses. It was all on the job training. I've seen India's venture ecosystem growing. 10 years ago when we started, I think venture capital wasn't as prominent. I think very few funds, very small ecosystem. So I've seen that upfront, how it's grown over 10 years, and it's amazing.
Great, Vishesh. Vishesh, obviously, we keep hearing about the multiple pivots which you've done at ShipRocket. Like most of us who have joined this call, we are looking to invest in startups. We keep looking at great companies, but there are times when these founders pivot. We invested in a X thought process, but now it's Y. So, how did you manage, handling the investors' conviction in such testing times in the journey of like 10 years? So, can you explain how this pivot works and why it is essential to keep the investor sentiments in check during such times?
I think it's not easy, first of all, and I would definitely say we were lucky to have a set of investors who believed in us more than what we were doing. So from our first investor, I think they always trusted the process. The company, my first set of investors up until Series B invested, does not exist today. The company that Series C investors invested, it does not exist today. yes, we have gone through our set of pivots, but at each point of pivot, I think we took the responsibility to convince everyone with logical arguments and why we are doing so. And then also, you need to have some set of investors who trust you and your process. So trust is very important. That we were lucky to have that, and we also made sure that we give enough information. It was not a decision कि मैं बंद कर रहा हूँ, I'm starting something else. And we wanted to make sure we take everyone together. So we used to make enough information, presentations, workshops, meetings to tell why we are pivoting and why this is a better opportunity, and then create a financial plan around it. I think it was more information sharing. The more you communicate, the better it is. And as investors, everyone here, the idea is all you have to do is help your portfolio. End of the day, money is only one part. In our journey, our investors were way more than money. Everyone shared their guidance, everyone shared their learnings. Some actually came and worked with us like co-founders, saying, let me help you do this particular part of business. So we've been lucky to have a good set of investors, and I think that's what it takes to build a company. It's not a listed company. You can't just buy an equity and then wait for them to. So जो कर सकते हैं वो करेंगे. I think ideas we got all the help, and I definitely respect that help a lot.
Lovely. So, having said that, can you give us one case study around how you pivoted? One interesting.
So yeah, we were in 17, 18. We were into a different business called Craftly. Not same company, different product. So Craftly was a marketplace. It was like Etsy of India, handmade goods, beautiful products on one marketplace. 16, 17, India had this wave of marketplaces, niche marketplaces. We had a marketplace for shoes, we had a marketplace for just watches, or we had a marketplace for just bags. All kinds of things were happening, and we were also in the same bandwagon, trying to find our way around a consumer marketplace. And what we realized and what were our learnings during the process, every time we got an order, we were losing money. So every order was another 20 rupees less. Every order was 20 rupees less. And then I think everyone said in the process that is how it's done. You first burn, you build scale, and then you eventually maybe start making money. And we were also trying to do the same thing like everyone, where let's build audience, let's build buyers, then buyers will buy again and we will make money. But just in that middle of the process, I think that's our personality thing. As founders, we started feeling very uncomfortable because we started seeing that bank balance going down, and we going towards the stage of where it could just be a dead end. You can't run a business on hope. A business needs to have a plan or strategy.
Right.
We were running on hope. Eventually maybe someone else will give you money. And that just made us uncomfortable, and we decided that as founders, there is nothing worth losing sleep on. And one day, all the founders, we just got together. We tried to create these Excel models on what is the potential scenario and how much money will it take to make it profitable. And we spent entire night, 8-9 hours, trying to build almost like multiple Excel models. My co-founder Sahil, he runs amazing Excel models. He knows how to operate Excel. We spent the entire night. I think we couldn't come out with one single answer on when it will become profitable. And that just makes you very uncomfortable. And we were running towards a stage where we were almost 3-5 months left as a company to survive. And that is when we took a call that this is the money left in the bank. Either we go all in trying to do this, or we decide what to do next. And that was it. I think just pure financially and maths wise, it just didn't make sense to us. And we decided that let's save the money we have in bank, think of a product which is workable, which makes us comfortable. We know B2B well, and Shiprocket is one of these experiments we were running on the parallel. And we just picked up Shiprocket saying, rest of the balance money, let's put all in on that product, which is a little bit product market fit and works very well for us, and we know how to do this. And it was an overnight call. We just shut down Craftly and this is not worth it.
Great. So that talks a lot about you being honest and also resilient as founder. Great. So Vishesh, as Moina said, that you've been wearing multiple hats. Now you're also investing as an entity. Also, what I know that you invest and also in personal capacity. So most of us who have joined this call, we are in our CXO journey. We are doing our jobs. We are doing our business, but we are not founders of startups. Correct. So how do you take decision while investing in startup, and are there any key learnings that we should also focus on while we are evaluating a company?
I can answer this on a personal level, what works for me. I think
Yeah.
when I decided that I want to go and back and invest into companies, my decision was only based on the fact that I have had experiences over 12 years around working around this ecosystem and my particular sector, which is B2B SaaS, e-commerce, D2C, the areas I understand. So I picked up the easiest available option saying, I understand D2C. We live on D2C. We have spent 12 years. I'm going to invest in companies who I can help at least. What can I do? And people who can use my personal experiences, my network connections, and everything else. So for me, it was like the companies I understand, founders and friends I like, and just go and invest there because we can work closely and build this together. The idea was I'm not going to go run that company, but idea at least I can be available for any questions they have in the process of building the company. So for me, it was just being part of their journeys and helping them, and that was my decision making. It was always about looking for companies I can help, and that's it.
So you played more of an active investor role,
Yeah.
being part of the,
Yeah.
more, I would rather put it more like a mentor than an investor.
Yeah, I think like you can call that but that was my personal approach. Not everyone can do that. It was just a
Yes.
personal approach where it works for me because I wanted to be part of their journey.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, there are a lot of innovation happening in the logistics sector, mobility sector. We at VCats have invested in a lot of companies like Zip, Shiprocket, Blue, Celsius, a lot of them enabling this entire piece. Do you see this as a sunrise sector where we should look at investing as angels? And what are the gap areas where you think there's still innovation left to be done?
I think there are no sunrise sectors. I think we try to follow a trend. Everyone tries to follow कि अब क्या sector चल रहा है. I think that's never worked out for a lot of people. It's not about sector. Any business which is fundamentally strong is a good business. Now coming back to your question around logistics, every time you want to identify a sector, you have to go back to India macros. India में हो क्या रहा है? And India in the next 10 years, the 5 trillion economy we want to become, that will happen on the back of two big sectors, which is very commonsensical, happen to every country, developing country, is fintech and logistics, because these are the sectors. See, logistics is important to support every other sector. We can say e-commerce badega, but uska supporting function is your supply chain. And supply chain, even when your country is going to become bigger, exports become a large part of it. You have to start exporting a lot, and that's how China became what it was eventually. Their exports grew a lot, and India has to be in the same spot. And exports बढ़ने के लिए again same thing. Supply chain has to be robust. Supply chain has to be cheap, optimized, and that's e-commerce के लिए supply chain. And for every business to grow in general, fintech चाहिए. So that's my personal belief. If you want to ask sunrise sectors, I think India will be built on these two sectors.
Very interesting. This export is something that probably I didn't think about, supply chain and export, and obviously India becoming Atmanirbhar, this could be an interesting space to invest in. Excellent. Also, Vishesh, last pitch day we had Anil Singhvi ji, who is a stock market expert, and he placed a lot of confidence in IPOs coming in from startups, which is very good, because the sentiments 1.5 years back was not that great. But now we see a positive sentiments coming from this industry stalwarts. So I believe at Shiprocket, you're also looking at IPO, if I'm not wrong. So what do you think? Are the Indian markets ready to accept startups coming in with their high valuation and different unit economics altogether?
Yeah, I think unit economics can never be different from what it is. Stock market fundamentals will never change, no matter startup or any other company. Every company is a startup eventually. Just because we are funded, we are seen differently, but every bank, every small pipe manufacturer company which went public was a startup eventually. So no different. I think fundamental unit economics will always trump everything. If your business makes sense, fundamentally 100 rupee goes in, 150 comes out, and 50 is pure profit. जब तक वो fundamental economics है, every business, Indian markets are always ready for those businesses. When startup IPOs are happening, in those same duration, there were other IPOs which went out. I think Campus Shoes or some very
Yeah.
old legacy businesses in the same duration. And people just forgot to look at those IPOs, and we were just looking at only 2-3 IPOs. Reality is there were like hundreds of IPOs that went out in those same duration. Look at all of them, not just one or two startups which went public, just because they had better PR. And if you see everything worked out, if till the time your numbers are fine, you worked out. There's nothing wrong with that. And Indian markets are always ready for a business which can absorb capital, grow, and then absorb more capital and grow more. जब तक आप वो कर पा रहे हो, you're always fine.
Interesting. Good to know that finally we have an exit route coming through IPO. As investors, we have seen in pitch decks. 4-5 years ago, I used to see pitch decks saying IPO is the exit, but we never trusted it. Now there is a trust factor coming. Yes, if the numbers are good, the business is solid, we look at positive outcomes coming from there also. Having said that, at Shiprocket, because we're talking of IPOs and as well as corporate governance is something which remains a question mark in early stage companies. At Shiprocket, how did you manage corporate governance? Was it instilled in the culture right from the beginning, or as you grew in your journey?
See, corporate governance and integrity are two different parts. आप जितना मर्जी data work कर लो, if an individual is fraudulent or has to do something, there is no amount of legal diligence or any other diligence that can ever come save you from it. Someone has to कुछ करना तो वो करेगा ही करेगा, and he will always find a way. There is no answer to that. What we can do is make sure. I think there is a small mistake we do, asking founders or portfolio founders for a lot of information, thinking कि उसको कैसा लगेगा, अरे वो बुरा नहीं मान जाएगा, and those kind of things come in play where we tend to not ask difficult questions to founders. Simple things like, यार, how much did you spend on your travel? हम नहीं पूछते कैसे जा रहा है, what was your expense, like give me your expense breakdown, where all did you spend the money this month. As investors, it is my right to ask. As founder, it is my responsibility to give. And the more questions are asked, the better it is, because you will always find some signals that something might be going wrong. And I think a lot of people just haven't asked. हम quarterly MIS पे rely कर लेते हैं. My personal way, and as us as a company, I think we were always more communicative than less, and making sure everyone knows exactly what is happening with us. When we pivoted, integrity का यही point है. When we pivoted, I could have just shut down that company, saying sorry, नहीं चली company. Started another company with the same model like Shiprocket, and I had 100% equity. And कर सकते थे वहाँ से आके. It's about personal choices. You want to make sure your responsibility towards your investor stays, and everyone has been part of your journey. It doesn't matter where they invested. They invested in you. So वो responsibility आना बहुत जरूरी है. And governance, I think, is a process thing. The more processes, right people, finance team, finance structure, कुछ हद तक तो वो that helps. But after a point, that also will fail. There is no way around it.
Yeah, that's a very honest answer again. Yeah, there's something integrity which cannot be measured.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Yeah, so that's something we have to rely to take a subjective decision there. Interesting. Also, like we have so many angels joining in here. Many of them may be wanting to start their journey to become angel investor. What are certain portfolio making? How to deploy your capital in this asset class? How many companies one should be investing in? Is there some thing that you can guide them on? That how did you build your portfolio as an individual?
Yeah, again, I've been lucky because I had Shiprocket and all the companies coming on to Shiprocket. So one, that access enabled me to do my D2C investment because I could see a lot of companies and startups on my platform. The other was, of course, a network of friends I've built. I think I've been around the ecosystem. I go to every event. I try to be part of every dinner, every kind of networking session that is happening, not even in Delhi, everywhere. So I've been more spread out and trying to build a network of people who can share deals. So that was my deal flow. And then I think now we have the ecosystem much more ready with systems like WeCats, and you can have networks, you can join networks. I think my way of doing that same thing was informal. I was part of like same network but informally. Uh, yeah, that was the only thing I did. I think Access was always about coming to friends sending you deals.
Understood. So perfect. I believe this has been a good conversation, Vishesh.
Yes, thank you.
For all our viewers, this was our intention was to get a unicorn founder to speak to you guys and understand how they don't have anything to look like. When I met Vishesh, he was just one of us, having simple thesis around building a business. And what Vishesh said is so true, that at the end we're building just businesses, whatever name you call it. The good thing is that in India now we are able to participate and invest in such good companies. So thank you so much, Vishesh, and
Thank
look
you.
forward to many such exciting conversations. Over to you, Moina. Thank you.